Bond climbed the steps to the club. He thought it was safe for him to appear there. He knew of no one else from the service who was now a member, and it was doubtful that the Immigration Service kept watch on these discreet doors. His membership was a long-standing one, and he was able to slip down to the changing rooms without delay. Modernization comes slowly to such establishments, but this club had managed to encompass modern plumbing and the introduction of women members without noticeably destroying the charms of the elegant, slightly faded fencing floor. Bond went straight to the dressing room and changed into his fencing whites. It had been a while since he had done any fencing, but he kept telling himself that it was just like riding a bike. When he was ready, he walked down to the cavernous hall. The noise and energy of the matches being played was all but palpable. Bond spotted Graves immediately and saw that there was an audience of nearly a dozen people. The hall was divided into several dueling floors and was decorated with massive display cases full of antique weapons from various cultures around the world. The bout was in full swing. Two figures, dressed in full fencing regalia and masks, were fighting with intense speed and skill. The players were connected to electronic referees by wires that extended from their tunics. Graves's opponent was a woman, and she was a startlingly good fencer. At the moment she was aggressively forcing Graves to back up, putting him on the defensive. However, Graves managed to parry the woman's sword with a swift maneuver called inquartata, a counterattack made with a quarter turn to the inside, concealing the front but exposing the back. This allowed him to pull away and regain a position in the center of the court. Before they could continue the bout, the electronic referees lit up and sounded the end of the match. Graves had won, but only by a little. Graves removed his mask and was all smiles. The other mask came off, and a shock of blonde hair tumbled down. It was the woman Bond had seen with Graves outside Buckingham Palace. As the pair slapped hands and moved off the floor for a breather, Bond noticed the club's lovely fencing coach standing in the corner. She was tall and thin, had long black hair, and appeared to be in her 30s. She was also dressed for fencing, but the laces on her corset were still undone. He approached her. "Verity?"
"Yes?"
"James Bond. Your lesson."
"Oh, right. I've been expecting you."
She looked him up and down. A hint of a smile indicated that she liked what she saw.
"You can tell so much about a man from the way he handles his weapon."
"Oh, I'm sure there's lots you can teach me," he replied. She turned her back to him.
"Do me up, will you?"
"My pleasure." He pulled the laces tight, and she winced. "I don't believe I've seen you here before."
"That makes two of us. I'm here every day. Where have you been?"
"I've been away. Do you fence with other members?"
"Sure. Watch and learn. The finest blade in the club's right there."
"Gustav Graves? Have you ever crossed swords with him?" Bond asked.
"He only likes to bet," she said, shaking her head.
"What about his opponent? Who's she?"
"Miranda Frost, his publicist. A difficult girl to lick. Believe me, I've tried. Won the gold at Sydney."
Bond pulled the laces tighter. His memory stirred. He added, "By default, I seem to remember."
Verity exhaled to accommodate the fit. "Yeah, after the one who beat her OD'd on steroids. Miranda deserved her gold."
"And now she's teaching Graves how to win one."
"He has trouble finding partners. He's taken so much off the other members that he's scared them off."
Bond thought about this a moment and asked, "Could you engineer an introduction?" Verity looked at him as if he were crazy.
"Without a lesson from me? Are you sure you're ready for that?"
Bond smiled winningly and shrugged. They went over to where Graves was toweling the back of his neck.
"Mr. Graves, one of our members wants to meet you," Verity said.
Graves looked up and smiled at him curiously.
"And perhaps try a bout with you," she added.
"Bond. James Bond." He extended his hand, but Graves made no move to accept it. His hands were full, mask in one, sword in the other. Miranda overheard and stepped next to them.
"Have we met before?"
Graves asked. "I think I'd remember," Bond replied.
"Of course you would. My mistake. Are you a gambling man, Mr. Bond?"
"When the odds are right."
"Surely you could risk 1,000 against me?"
Bond looked at Miranda. She gave him a cold stare as she disconnected herself from the scoring equipment and handed him the wire. Bond connected it to the back of his protective gear, then attached a wire from his sword's hilt to the wrist of his jacket.